The ground shook with the intensity of battle. John and Tommy worked with a single goal, their actions coordinated by months of practice and a silent connection. The radio buzzed with incoming messages, each one crucial to the mission's success. As Tommy passed on the orders in Navajo, John watched the horizon, always alert. Suddenly, the night exploded with gunfire. Enemy soldiers broke through the lines, their shapes barely visible in the dim light. John and Tommy exchanged a quick, determined glance. They couldn't let their position be taken. John fired his rifle, protecting Tommy as he continued to send messages. Their Navajo code was their shield, their weapon against the chaos. Every word spoken was a piece in the complex pattern of their mission, connecting the fates of many soldiers. Time seemed to slow as the battle went on. John's breath came in rough gasps, his muscles tired, but they stood their ground, driven by a strong will to protect their friends and their code. Then, as quickly as it had started, the enemy attack lessened. Reinforcements arrived, pushing back the assault. John and Tommy leaned against the sandbags, feeling relief wash over them. They had done it. The code had held, and their mission was a success. "Good job, brother," Tommy said, his voice tired but full of pride. John nodded, unable to speak. They had faced the unimaginable and won, their unbreakable code a light of hope in the darkest times. The story of John and Tommy honors the real heroes called the Navajo Code Talkers. During World War II, these brave men used their native language to create a code that couldn't be broken, which was key to the United States military's success in the Pacific. The idea to use the Navajo language for military communication came from Philip Johnston, a civil engineer who had grown up on a Navajo reservation. He knew how complex and unique the Navajo language was and suggested it as a secure way to communicate. The military quickly saw its potential, and in 1942, the first group of 29 Navajo code talkers was recruited. These men went through intense training, learning to encode and decode messages using a system that replaced military terms with Navajo words. For example, turtle was used for a tank, and chicken hawk stood for a dive bomber. The Navajo code talkers created over 400 such terms, making a code that was almost impossible for the enemy to crack. The success of the Navajo code talkers was shown in many battles, including the important Battle of Iwo Jima. Major Howard Connor, a signal officer, famously said, "Were it not for the Navajos, the Marines would never have taken Iwo Jima." The code talkers sent and received over 800 messages without any mistakes during the first 2 days of the battle, proving their great value and skill. Despite their major contributions, the work of the Navajo code talkers was kept secret until 1968. When their story was finally told, it showed their incredible bravery and cleverness. In 2001, President George W. Bush gave the Congressional Gold Medal to the original 29 code talkers, and the Silver Medal to those who came later. The legacy of the Navajo code talkers shows the power of language and the strength of cultural heritage. Their work not only helped win the war, but also brought honor and pride to the Navajo nation. Today, they are remembered as true American heroes. Their story a strong example of courage, skill, and the unbreakable spirit of the human heart. Back in the dry lands of the Navajo reservation, a young Philip Johnston sat with his family, learning the rich culture and language of the Navajo people. The reservation was a different world, its vast landscapes filled with the sounds of Navajo conversations, songs, and stories. This experience gave Philip a deep understanding of the Navajo language's complexity. Fast forward to 1942, the United States was struggling with secure communications in the Pacific. Traditional codes were being broken by the Japanese, leading to big losses. During a casual chat with military officials, Philip suggested an idea that would change history. Join our tribe and hit subscribe. Don't miss out on the wisdom and epic Native American stories. Now let's continue with his idea. "What if we use the Navajo language for our military communications?" Philip asked. The room went quiet, then filled with excitement. The language, spoken by less than 30,000 people at the time, was unwritten and very complex, making it perfect for an unbreakable code. After convincing the military leaders, Philip set up a demonstration. A group of Navajo men, including leaders like Peter MacDonald and Chester Nez, showed their language skills. They translated messages from English to Navajo and back with amazing speed and accuracy. The military officials were impressed. The Navajo language, with its unique sounds and complex structure, was indeed a linguistic fortress. Thus, the Navajo Code Talkers program was born. The first group of 29 recruits, later called the First 29, went to Camp Pendleton for basic training. There, they faced the tough challenge of military drills and creating the code. The First 29 worked hard, making a dictionary and many code words. They picked Navajo words that had no written form, ensuring the code's security. For example, Beshlo, ironfish, meant submarine, and Dahe-Ti-Hai, hummingbird, meant fighter plane. The code was not just a direct translation, but a complex system that needed a deep knowledge of the Navajo language and culture. Once the code was ready, the code talkers were sent to the Pacific. Their presence was both a secret weapon and a morale booster. These young Navajo men, who had once lived in remote reservation lands, now found themselves in the middle of crucial battles. The harsh reality of war was very different from the quiet life on the reservation. In the thick jungles of Guadalcanal and the dangerous beaches of Iwo Jima, the Navajo code talkers showed their bravery. They sent and received messages under fire, their voices calm and steady in the chaos. During the Battle of Iwo Jima, the code faced its biggest test. The Japanese forces had turned the island into a deadly fortress. The U.S. Marines needed precise coordination to move through the dangerous terrain. The Navajo code talkers stepped up, their voices sending important messages that directed artillery strikes, troop movements, and supply drops. Major Howard Connor, the 5th Marine Division signal officer, relied heavily on the code talkers. For 48 hours straight, 6 Navajo men worked tirelessly, sending over 800 messages without a single mistake. Their perfect communication was key in securing the island, a crucial victory in the Pacific campaign. Despite their important role, the code talkers' contributions were kept secret. They were not allowed to talk about their work, even with their families. The military feared that revealing the code's existence could endanger future operations. The Navajo code talkers continued to serve with honor throughout the war. In battle after battle, from Tarawa to Okinawa, their unbreakable code saved many lives and secured critical victories. They faced the same dangers as their fellow Marines, enduring the horrors of combat with courage and strength. When World War II ended in 1945, the Navajo code talkers returned to a country unaware of their heroic contributions. They quietly returned to civilian life, carrying the weight of their experiences in silence. The code they had created and the battles they had fought remained secret, their stories untold. For years, their achievements went unrecognized. Many code talkers struggled with memories of war, haunted by the scenes of violence and loss they had seen. The transition from respected war hero to ordinary citizen was difficult, made worse by the lack of understanding and support from the broader community. It wasn't until 1968 that the Navajo code talkers' story began to come to light. The declassification of their work opened the door to recognition and honor. Gradually, the public learned about the clever code that had confused the Japanese and the brave men who had used it. In 1982, President Ronald Reagan declared August 14th as National Navajo Code Talkers Day, a gesture of gratitude and remembrance. This was followed by more honors, including the Congressional Gold Medal awarded to the original 29 code talkers in 2001 by President George W. Bush. Those who served later received the Silver Medal. The recognition brought a sense of pride and closure to many of the code talkers and their families. Their contributions were finally acknowledged, their stories celebrated as an important part of American history. Today, the legacy of the Navajo code talkers is preserved and honored in many ways. Museums, documentaries, and books tell their amazing story, making sure that future generations understand and appreciate their sacrifice and cleverness. The Navajo Nation also holds the code talkers in high regard, celebrating their bravery and contribution to their people and country. Their story is a source of inspiration, showing the strength and resilience of the Navajo culture. In schools across America, students learn about the code talkers as part of their history lessons. Their story is a powerful example of how language and cultural diversity can help national security and success. Monuments and memorials have been built in their honor, serving as lasting reminders of their bravery. The Navajo Code Talkers Memorial in Window Rock, Arizona, stands as a tribute to their heroism, featuring a statue and plaques detailing their achievements. The Navajo Code Talkers left a lasting mark on history. Their unbreakable code, born from their rich language heritage, played a crucial role in winning World War II. Their story is a beacon of hope and resilience, reminding us of the power of language and the unyielding spirit of those who fight for freedom.